Hi there. Been a while since I've done one of these. Let's get started. First question. Can we get more sister videos, please? Aw, you like the Andrew and Kelly videos. Thank you. Yes. Eventually. Here's the thing. My sister and I don't live in the same state. I live in Southern California. She lives in St. Louis, Missouri. We see each other maybe once a year. Sometimes twice, but once a year is about it. So we record videos when we're together and when we have time. But I'm afraid if you're a fan of the Andrew and Kelly videos, they're going to remain a rare treat. We're just not together that much. We can do stuff online. The For Everything But Wii U video was done over Skype video chat or something like that. It's cumbersome. It's a pain to edit, a pain to capture that footage in any quality too, but it can be done. So if I have a good idea for something, I might be able to do it that way. But really, don't expect too many Andrew and Kelly videos. Sorry about that. So the main question for today's episode is very long and complicated, so I'm going to bust it up into parts and summarize it. Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS. Do I think that the Wii U version would have sold better were there no 3DS version? Yes. Unquestionably, yes. Let's look at Nintendo's sales numbers. According to Nintendo, what they have listed on their site, Smash Brothers for the Wii U has sold 3.83 million. Smash Brothers for the 3DS has sold 7.04 million. If you were wondering, Nintendo sold 10.01 million Wii U's. So there are actually more copies of Smash Brothers out there than there are Wii U's. So if there were no 3DS version, Nintendo would not have sold almost certainly would not have sold as many copies of the game as they did. But if there were no 3DS game, they certainly would have sold more on the Wii U, because I have to imagine that at least some of those 7+ million people who own the game on the 3DS would have gone with the other option instead of saying, well, I guess no Smash Brothers for me. Harumph. And here's the interesting thing. So I don't think so while the game definitely would have, to me, definitely would have sold better on the Wii U had there been no 3DS version, I'm not saying that Nintendo should not have made a 3DS version. I think that was a good idea, because as I mentioned, they would not have sold the combined total if there was only the Wii U. So here's what Nintendo did. Nintendo released the 3DS version in early October, and then the Wii U version in late November. So there's almost 2 months between those releases. What I think is the mistake is that Nintendo released it on the 3DS first. I think that hurt Wii U sales more than just the 3DS version existing. I think the fact that it came out on the 3DS almost 2 months before the Wii U version came out really hurt the Wii U sales. I think that Nintendo may have been concerned that a handheld Smash Brothers was uncharted waters and maybe it needed that extra push. I can't say I agree with that if that's the case. I think the Wii U really needed the extra push more than the 3DS did. I would have recommended them coming out at the same time, or even a little bit earlier on the Wii U, just to incentivize those people who was like, I don't care where it comes, wherever it comes, I will be there. Because there are people who will play Smash wherever it is, including people who would buy the hardware specifically for it. Although I think most people who are interested in Smash Brothers probably already have a Wii U. I mean, there's already a Mario, there's already Mario Kart. anyone who's really interested in Smash Brothers probably has a Wii U at this point. So I think releasing it on the 3DS 2 months earlier really hurt Wii U sales, because I imagine there are a couple people who would have bought it for the Wii U, but didn't want to wait 2 months. So, that is my thoughts. Let's see, there's another part of the question here. There are no ice climbers as the playable characters in the Smash Brothers. Do I think if there were no 3DS version, would we have ice climbers as characters? Yes. Again, unquestionably yes. And this opinion is based on a translated Famitsu interview, I believe, with Sakurai, who said that the ice climbers were there and up and running, but he couldn't get it working on the 3DS because it's two characters as one. Apparently, it just didn't quite work with the 3DS, so they said, we want the same roster on both versions, so we're cutting these. That's what an interview with him says. Now, it's a translated interview. Maybe something was lost in the translation, but that sounds like, yes, if there were no 3DS version, there would be a ice climber character in the game. It is kind of odd, though, because you do have the Duck Hunt dog and the duck, which is kind of like two characters. You have Olimar and a couple Pikmin trailing behind him. You have Rosalina and Luma, which are kind of two separate characters. So they work on both versions, so it must have been really close. I can't imagine that Ice Climbers just completely blew the thing up. That seems kind of odd to me. But there were other things I heard that the reason that we didn't have characters that switch, like Metroid characters, Samus and Zero Suit Samus were split up into two different characters. Sheik and Zelda were split up into two different characters. The Pokemon Trainer was split up into 3 different Pokemon. I heard it was because the 3DS didn't really handle that well. We still got all the characters. That'd been interesting. Maybe we should have had just a Nana character and a Popo character. Could have been clones or something. I don't know. I think that would have taken away the what made that character interesting, though. So another part of this question, the final part, asks if I think that last generation systems, PS3, Xbox 360, and handhelds like the 3DS and the Vita, handicap the current gen systems like PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U. Are modern current generation games being hamstrung by the fact that they have to cater to the so-called lowest common denominator of the last generation system? Would Alien Isolation be an even better game if, who was it, Sega, didn't have to worry about porting it to the 360 and the PS3 also? Would Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate have been a better game if it did not also have to work on the 3DS? Probably in a lot of cases, yeah. I think the fact that a lot of games have to also run on the previous generation of hardware or the handheld version of hardware, unless I'm making a specific game for that, I do think that in some ways hamstrings the scope of what could be done on the current generation of hardware. Now, granted, Wii U is a generation behind PS4 and Xbox One, so you kind of have the same problem where if you wanted to port to all three, you'd be held back by the game generally has to run on the Wii U, so the PS4 and Xbox One versions would be hamstrung by that fact. Of course, for everything but Wii U, that list is nearly 300 games. No one's really trying that. But we are seeing dozens and dozens of games that are made for the PS4 and the Xbox One, but also the 360 and the PS3. Metal Gear Solid 5, for example. Would that game be even... Is it held back in any way by having to also be able to operate as a game on the 360 and the PS3? Granted, it's going to look better, and you can scale graphics up and down, resolution, and model complexity and stuff like that, but I'm talking more along the lines of just scope of the project. If Konami didn't have to worry about PS3 and Xbox One, would the world be larger? Would it be populated with more characters? Would there be more environment interaction? Would there be better physics systems in place? Would you have more animals running around throughout the desert? Would AI be more complex and interesting? Possibly, yes. Possibly, yes. Now, does that mean I think that the PS3, as soon as we move to a new generation, we should kill off the last generation? No. No. The reality of a lot of AAA gaming, at least, is in order to make your bucks back, you have to release it on a bunch of systems. But I think we're going to see less and less games show up, and judging by E3 and Gamescom, we're already seeing that. We're seeing, I'm running out of batteries. We're seeing less and less games come out on the PS3 and 360. We're seeing a lot more Xbox One, PS4, and PC games. So, and that always happens. There's always the generation overlap. I don't think that's that bad of a thing. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and I have to get out of here before my camera runs out of juice. Any questions you have for me, doesn't have to be about video games. You can ask me dating advice. I would not advise you to ask me about dating advice, because I will give you dating advice. Oh, don't think I won't. It would be hilarious. Take care, all. See you in the next episode.